Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Here.
Councilman Torres.
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan.
Here.
Councilman Sedan.
Here.
Councilman Ballman.
Here.
Councilman Mazza.
Mazza.
President Grover.
Here. We have 8 members present. This is a regular meeting. The City Council has incorporated the annual meetings notice of 2014, which is filed in the City Clerk's office and posted on the bulletin board on December 27, 2013, sent to the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune, all in compliance with provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law of New Jersey. At this time, I'm going to ask everyone please rise and let Councilman Torres lead us in the prayer of pledge.
Almighty God, as we legislate for our community, may a strong sense of justice and fair play permeate all that we do. Above all, may we seek out your holy will. Give us the strength to follow it, regardless of all you consider. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Before we move on to public speaking, I'm going to yield the floor to Councilwoman Patricia Perkins Augusta, who has one presentation to make tonight.
When Mr. Jamal Kamara, please come forward, and his team. Gentlemen, colleagues, and the audience present, and the audience viewing this on TV, and that other device, which is YouTube. I had to take the time out to recognize a young man in the city of Elizabeth who was born and raised here. Mr. Kamari Jamal here, what we have here in the city of Elizabeth, we have an annual book bag drive that we've been doing for about 7 years. And this young man that you see standing to my left, he would go and buy a whole table full of supplies to give away to the children in the city of Elizabeth. Primarily, it will be in the second ward, which is down at the Earth Slavery Center. But what made me stop and want to recognize him is that so many of our young men are being touted as people who do not care for the city of Elizabeth. I mean, even across the nation, you see young men, especially African American men, who are being gunned down, who are being shot, who are being characterized as people who do not care, who are not responsible. And this young man taking it upon his own accord to go into his pocket and buy supplies for children that he do not know, for children that he did not father, here in the city of Elizabeth.
team, my family, the city, my friend. We all struggle coming from where we come from. Probably I became a product of my environment, but I've been working for 2 years. I started off at ShopRite making $8 an hour. Last year, getting a $90 check a week with 2 children. And I still provide for the whole community with supplies, pencils, notebooks. And then the next year, God blessed me this year, I worked at Colorado making twice as much, making $24 an hour. So thank God for the glory. And I thank the city of Elizabeth for giving me the opportunity to help the kids. Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Kamari. Seeing good work, and it's a great example for the young folks at home. This time I'm going to call on Councilman at-large Frank Wester who has some presentations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, as you know, we are now to, we have actually started already celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And I thought it would be a good idea to recognize some of members of the community who are so active, who do so much for our city. Obviously, you know, the list could be more extensive, but we decided to select a few individuals who demonstrated incredible civic beauty. I will start with Detective Colon. Detective Fernando Colon, come forward. Usually I do not read all the resolutions, but some of the resolutions are so well written and they have so much valuable information, especially this one when I read it, so I would like to read it. By City Council as a whole, whereas the City of Elizabeth acknowledges National Hispanic Heritage Month as a period of September 15 to October 15 in the United States, when people recognize the contribution of Hispanic and Latin Americans to the United States and celebrate the group's heritage and culture. And whereas the City of Elizabeth would like to commend Hispanic and Latino Americans who have made contributions in our city. Detective Amilcar Miki Colon was born in Newark, New Jersey, to Doris Colon Sanchez and Leonidas Gonzalez in 1966. In 1970, he moved to Elizabeth. He attended Washington School of the One. He graduated 110 out of a class of over 1,000 students at Elizabeth High School in 1985. Whereas he joined the United States Marine Corps after high school. During his enlistment, he traveled all over the world, including Japan, Philippines, and Korea. In 1991, he was mobilized and traveled to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and took part in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, where he received several awards and citations. He also spent 2 years at the Philadelphia Naval Yard, where he achieved the rank of sergeant upon being honorably discharged in 1993. And whereas in July of 1994, he was selected to be part of the 71st class of John H. Stanley Police Academy and then hired by the Elizabeth Police Department. He served several years in the Patrol Division and received several commendations for incidents dealing with numerous types of crimes, such as arrests of guns and narcotics possession, as well as other crimes in the city of Elizabeth. In 2000, he was selected to the Elizabeth Police Department of EXU, where he received training from the NYFPI Field Training Union as a SWAT operator and elected onto the Elizabeth Honor Guard. 2001, he was selected to take part in the community police program where he served in a plainclothes capacity, being responsible for countless investigations, arrests, and convictions. And whereas in August of 2008, he received Detective Second Grade Badge while assigned to the Elizabeth Police Department, 9th Detective Squad. 2011, he received the
city of Newark and the city of Elizabeth back in 1970, living on First East Jersey Street above Gus's Diner. Little did I know that I was going to be standing here today with the city council, its members, and the folks in the audience, being one of 9 children, Puerto Rican family. Hard to say that it's one of those difficult feats to come as far as I've come, with many roadblocks that are out there. Like Mr. Cromartie said, being from Elizabeth and on the city streets, it's easy to get in trouble. But fortitude, strength, and that drive to make things right, coming back to the city and giving willingly. It's an honor for me to be presented with the city council, by the city council, and I just want to thank you very much.
The next recipient is Alberto Gonzalez. Alberto. Whereas the City Council of the City of Elizabeth acknowledges National Hispanic Heritage Month, it's a period of September 15 to October 15 in the United States. The people recognize contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans to the United States and celebrate the group's heritage and culture. Whereas the City of Elizabeth would like to commend Hispanic and Latino Americans who have made contributions in our city. Alberto Gonzalez, a hard worker who has shown dedication to the City of Elizabeth. And whereas Alberto was born in Jersey City and at the age of 3 months moved to the City of Elizabeth, where he lived for over 25 years. Whereas Alberto maintains 17 years of business development experience. After a few years of working in a transportation company he then became involved in real estate. Whereas Alberto is currently the principal partner of GS Developers, a company that focuses on developing communities throughout Union County. And whereas as a real estate professional, Alberto helped to originate over $100 million in lending for communities throughout New Jersey's trade areas. In 2009, he started developing several Retro Fitness and Burger King franchises. Today, he's part owner of 3
in order to receive this prestigious resolution. You might be wondering, as many people have done before, questioning me, why do I worry about city issues or donate my time to the community? Well, I was brought up with the principles to be an active within the place where I live. Such values were inculcated from my parents' belief that we should fight for our community, to make and produce changes for all. And so, it is now my turn to model and instill such action to my son, who is part to the future. We must continue our mission to institute actions that will propel our city of Elizabeth, one of the best places to reside in New Jersey. I will continue with my passion to serve our community as it satisfies one of my life's purposes. This epitomizes why I work for my community, my city. Thank you.
And last but not least, Lando Galvez. Lando, come forward, please. Congratulations, Lando. I want to do this one a little bit different. You know that we're celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month. Orlando Galvez, like the other recipients, is a dear friend, someone whose contribution to the city has been acknowledged by many, but I thought it would be appropriate for City Council to also recognize everything that he has done for our community. Orlando is an active member of Hispanos Unidos. Orlando is the past president of Peruvian Association, Union County. He's presently a commissioner for the Board of Adjustments. During the Vietnam War, he worked for a company that made explosive artifacts for U.S. troops, and he often recalls those days and talks about it because he's proud of the work that he did to support our troops during a difficult time in our history. He has been instrumental in helping new Peruvian immigrants who have arrived to this country in assimilation to the culture, as well as helping them get jobs. He's a past president of the Peruvian Lions Club. He's a civil engineer. He is presently the president of Peruvians for Progress. Orlando, if you get a chance to talk to him, he speaks with passion about helping the elderly, by helping children, by helping those in need, and he spends a lot of time and effort in helping those individuals. For that reason, he's being commended tonight. Congratulations.
You all can see by now that I am the only female on the Elizabeth City Council. And when my colleague Frank Cuesta said he wanted to honor some
my activism in Elizabeth started many years ago. I remember exactly when I felt the need to get involved. My daughter was about 8 years old, and we had, my brother lived in the Amora section, and we lived down in Port. And her cousin told her, "Are you a bad person because you live in a bad part of town?" You know, and she came to me. I felt like really devastated, you know. This is my daughter telling me this, you know. And I felt, you know, maybe I need to get more involved. You know, I think you should get involved with things for your family first, and then for all the other families around you. And I remember when we really got active with the Block Watch, and that was before Manny Brogo was a councilman, when he was an activist also. And we developed block watchers on blocks, and Manny even did a course on how far can you take defending yourself. He said, because if you hurt somebody and they fall out the window, you better drag them back in the house, because you're going to get in trouble if not. And I mean, there was a big group of people, and I think the young man that was honored, that's the kind of people we need. Because people like me, I'm tired. You know, I want to play with my grandkids. I was very active in my youth. I was very active in the military. I have a lot of injuries that pain me. And, you know, it's good to have and see people getting involved. It's always good to have politicians, but the activists keep the politicians on their toes. And if you don't have both, we're in trouble as a society. So thank you very much. And I know the council people and everybody that's honored, I'm in good company.
Last but certainly not least, Mr. Stephen Fernandez. This is one of my babies. Yeah, I have a lot of babies of all different cultures and backgrounds, and Stephen is definitely one of my babies. About 2 years ago, I really got to know Stephen when we were walking together throughout the communities. He's a very inquisitive young man, always seeking and wanting to know so many things, asking me a million questions like, oh my God, Stephen is really keeping me on my toes. But what I liked most about Stephen was that he wanted to do better. He wanted to do better for himself, for his family, for his son, for his community. He always was looking for ways to how to better himself so that he can better the community. And if people who know me, I don't like read all this jargon because people who know me, I like to speak from my heart. And the most thing that I really liked about Stephen, that he comes from a very strong family. He has good family roots. He's very respectful as a young man, and I like to see that in young people. I mean, we need to, like, I can't stress it enough. We need to really encourage young people who are about doing the right thing, who's full of integrity, who's respected, and who respects people. That is important today, because our young people are losing what it means to respect their elders, what it means to be about a family structure that is sound, that is based on love, discipline, spiritual principles, and Stephen possessed all of that. So when my colleague, Councilman Cuesta, when he said let's honor people, Stephen was one of the ones who came to my mind immediately, because I watched him. I watched him mature into a young man who really has his mark on what he wants to do. So without further ado, I'm not going to read all the political jargon because it says what you have heard tonight, that it's a resolution commending you for Hispanic and Latino here in the city of Elizabeth and the nation. And currently, Stephen, I can read it, he has his degrees. He currently works for the only African-American senator from the state of New Jersey. He's a constituent advocate for U.S. Senator Cory Booker, and that is no small feat, so we need to give him a hand for that. The Coalition to House the Homeless, which is a very important coalition here in the city of Elizabeth. And, you know, it's very important because poverty here in the city of Elizabeth, well, not the city of Elizabeth, but the state of New Jersey, poverty is going up. While all the whole country, poverty is going down. But in New Jersey, because of our governor, poverty is on the rise. So to get a young person really involved in things like housing, opportunities for people who are homeless, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you have young people now that just want, it's microwave, we're in a microwave age. You know, they get a degree, then they want to be the CEO. They get a degree, they want to be the principal or the superintendent. They don't want to walk. They don't want to learn under anybody. They have all the answers. But this young man, he's willing to learn. He's willing to take his time and really embrace what he has to do. So, on behalf of myself and my colleagues, I truly want to say God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. Continue to be focused. Keep your family and God first, and the sky is the limit. God bless you.
Resolution. My family over there is here to support me, and you know, I wasn't born in Elizabeth, but I was raised here. Where I go, I have Elizabeth in my heart. Went to Elizabeth Public Schools. My son goes there now, and my family immigrated from South Flamengo, Dominican Republic, and they still at a young age public service and others, affecting change from within. And that's how I try to carry myself. I think I've done a pretty good job so far, and so again, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We do have a meeting tonight.
The clock hasn't started.
Bruce, can we make sure that door is closed, please? Now you can start over. Sorry about that.
That's okay, I know you're excited. So my name is Lauren Petrie, I'm a food and water washer organizer in New Brunswick. And I'm here tonight to address the fracking waste ordinance that's up for a final vote. As you may know, shipments of fracking waste has been received in the city of Elizabeth in 2010 and 2011. Fracking waste contains hundreds of chemicals. Many of these are cancer-causing, endocrine disrupting chemicals. A lot of the elements are also potentially radioactive material like benzene, diesel, formaldehyde, toluene, barium, mercury, lead, things that you do not want in your communities or in your drinking water by any means. A few months ago, Governor Christie vetoed a statewide fracking waste ban, which means that the entire state and the city of Elizabeth continues to remain vulnerable to the dumping of fracking waste in our community wastewater treatment facilities and landfills. Also, the importance of this ordinance is that it not only will prohibit the storage, treatment, disposal of the fracking waste, but it also eliminates the spread of frack waste on roadways as a de-icing agent. This is so important because the spreading of fracking waste on your roadways guarantees that this waste, potential radioactive material, is going to get into your waterways and eventually your wastewater treatment facilities and your drinking water. 2 years ago, we were on the verge of the anniversary of Superstorm Sandy. And I think that really underscores the importance of keeping this kind of waste out of our communities. Communities are still recovering and trying to rebuild from the storm. And when you have this kind of flooding coming into your communities that are flooding out your wastewater treatment facilities, your landfills, and storing this kind of waste, it just compounds the cleanup that has to take place in your community, because now you've got toxic and potentially radioactive material that has flooded into your communities. This is an industry that does not care about your community. They don't care about the health of your residents. They don't care about the quality of your water. What they care about is making profits, getting rid of this stuff wherever they can, but whoever will take it. They're only interested in making money and getting rid of the waste. So I want to thank the council tonight for their overwhelming support for passing this ordinance, and also for the council setting an example for the rest of the state to follow. We do hope that our communities, counties will follow the lead here. This sends a really strong message that you're not willing to allow your community and your residents' health to be jeopardized by an industry that is really only in for profits. So thank you so much to the council for taking action tonight on this.
Thank you, Ms. Petrie. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
My name is Elizabeth Nelson. I'm in Somerset currently. I'm with volunteer with Board Watch. I also drive a car known as the Frackmobile. It's a billboard against fracking, which I've taken across the country and actually into Canada as well, as a sort of investigation into the fracking that's going on, and also what's happening to the waste, what are the social impacts happening in different communities. What I discovered along the way is that industry has a big problem with this waste. They're making millions of gallons of it. And there's really nowhere to dispose of it. It's really untreatable. It's radioactive. It contains up to 700 different chemicals, proprietary chemicals, so they're not even labeled correctly. They are mostly not trucked with labeling, because how can they be trucked correctly with the proper labeling if we don't know responsibility in the industry, about how they were required to dispose of it irresponsibly at times, about how on occasion the Geiger counters that are set up in certain depots to measure the radioactivity of the load, those Geiger counters are often switched off. So it's a great concern where this frac waste is going, and even when it is going to some supposedly legitimate place. I recommend that all towns really follow the trail, follow whatever evidence there is, follow these trucks, get to find out where it's going next. If, especially if it's rejected in your town for whatever reason, we don't even know half the time what happens next to that load. I recommend that each community stay alert and protect yourself from this kind of waste disposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council on any matter?
Hello?
Yes. Beginning.
Maria, that's Maria. Want to know my address? Okay.
We know who you are.
I still want to back up that lady because they know more than I do. I was looking at the joint meeting to get that information because that's why I'm here. I did some research, not too much. Methane, it is a toxin. It heats up the water. I don't know what it does, but somebody get an environmentalist, get something. Okay, I wish I would bring my water tester from my house. I have one, and I would test for drinking water. I bought drinking water in the past from, let's say, Walmart or whatever, and that water was dirtier than the town water that comes out of my city. So yeah, that's true. Sometimes you don't know. I know that. Okay, so there's just so much. Somebody look into that whole thing, and these people that make have this whatever, they're not paying taxes or whatever. Go solar, go something. Clean the water. We live on this land. I mean, I want this earth around for when my grandchildren come around. And you know, it already started the whole global warming and all that goodness that's in there. Research it, Google it, YouTube it, whatever it is. Somebody look into this because it is really, really serious. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
Hi, my name is Kelly Luger. I'm a resident of Roselle Park, New Jersey. I'm here to speak on behalf of a good friend of mine, Angela Campo, president of Elizabeth, over on the Avenue, who couldn't be here tonight. And also on behalf of myself, because I do still live less than 5 miles away from Elizabethport. This is something, pollution, the water cycle doesn't stop at city limits. It doesn't stop at the corner of 28 and Galvin Hill Road. So this is important to me too, and it's important to New Jersey because it's important because excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous. Because this sets an example that you can't ship and dump and store this type of waste in Elizabeth. You can't ship it anywhere because anything that jeopardizes our public water is something that is and something that we should all be fighting for. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Move on to public hearings.
Ordinance number 4479, authorize the adoption of a bond ordinance in the amount of $1,700,000 with a down payment of $85,000 for the construction of the Elizabeth River Trail Phase 4, the area along the Elizabeth River from South Broad Street to West Franklin Street.
Heard reading of ordinance 4479. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4479? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4481, an ordinance to establish Chapter 7.28 28 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Fracking Waste, specifically to prohibit the treatment, discharge, disposal, application to roadway, or storage of wastewater solids, sludge, drill, cuttings, or other byproducts from natural gas exploration or production using hydraulic fracturing.
You've heard a reading of ordinance number 4481. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4481?
Just asking, does this have anything to do with the joint meeting or anything? With any-
No, it does not.
That's totally different.
Yes.
Okay, but please, everybody look into that, please.
No one else? Close that portion.
Ordinance number 4482, authorize amendment to chapter 5.70.250 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Rent Control and Stabilization, specifically to extend the expiration date to December 31st, 2016.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4482. Anyone from the audience wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4482? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4483, authorize an amendment to chapter 10.28.30, schedule 1 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled No Parking All Times on Certain Streets, specifically for the entire length of Harrison Street and Crane Street, as well as stop signs at the intersection of Crane Street and Union Street, and the intersection of Harrison Street and Westfield Avenue.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4483. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance 4483? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4484, rescind ordinance number 3541, adopted September 9, 2003, which authorized the establishment of a four-way stop at Stiles Street and Chilton Street, and further establish a three-way stop at said location.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4484. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance 4484? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4485, rescind ordinance number 4015, adopted January 27, 2009, which authorized the establishment of no stopping or standing in the area of 109, 119 Bayway Avenue.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4485. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4485? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4486, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Alina Street and Jefferson Avenue, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4486. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4486? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4487, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Durant Street and Cross Avenue, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4488. Sorry, 887. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4487? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4488, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Ogden Street and Myrtle Street, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4488. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4488? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4489, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Fifth Avenue and Atlantic Streets, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4489. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to address the council on 4489? Seeing none, I'll close that portion.
Ordinance number 4490, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Pedestrians Crossing Mid-Block Crossing, specifically to add 655 Livingston Street and warning signs of pedestrian crossing.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4490. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4490? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4491, authorize the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Barbara A. Ramus D. Air Floor, 66 Florida Street.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4491. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance 4491? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4492, rescind ordinance number 4142 adopted July 27, 2010, which authorized the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Stephanie Lubis, 208 Geneva Street.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4492. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4492? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4493, rescind ordinance number 4408 adopted September 10, 2013, which authorized the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Barbara A. Russo, 532 Fourth Avenue.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4493. Anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4493? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Sent to my colleagues, we're going to dispense with reading the positions and communications and reports to city officers. We're going to move on to ordinances on first reading.
Ordinance number 4495, authorize the execution of a site access agreement with GeoWorks Consulting LLC, Clinton, New Jersey, to complete soil borings at Nicky Playground, located at 128142 Fulton Street, in connection with possible contaminants migrating onto playground property from Steel Bright Polishing Corporation, 127 Franklin Street.
Members of council, you heard ordinance number 4495. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. The ayes, ordinance passes on first reading.
Ordinance number 4496, authorize the adoption of capital ordinance in the amount of $400,000 for sidewalks and drainage improvements at various city properties.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4496. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. The ayes, ordinance passes on first reading. Public hearing and further consideration of foregoing ordinances shall take place at the city council meeting to be held Tuesday, October 14, 2014 at 7:30 p.m. We now move on to ordinances on final passage.
Ordinance number 4479, authorize the adoption of a bond ordinance in the amount of $1,700,000 with a down payment of $85,000 for the construction of the Elizabeth River Trail Phase 4, the area along the Elizabeth River from South Broad Street to West Grand Street.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4479. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
So moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. The ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4481, an ordinance to establish Chapter 7.28 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Fracking Waste, specifically to prohibit the treatment, discharge, disposal, application to roadway, or storage of wastewater, wastewater solids, sludge, drill cuttings, or other byproducts from natural gas exploration or production using hydraulic fracturing.
Heard the reading of ordinance 4481. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Mr. President. Councilman Mazza.
I would like to say a special thank you to the mayor of the city for introducing this ordinance to the city council and to the young people in the audience that represents the water watch group. And those are very important group of people that are watching, that are concerned about what is the most essential thing that we have on earth. And I think by doing this should be a message to be going to other towns, other municipality, and the state of New Jersey, throughout the country, and throughout the world, that whatever some of those industrial people, whatever they do, is for profit, not for the safety and save our herds, especially our water, which is essential to us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilwoman Patricia Perkins West.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to echo these sentiments, not only my colleague Frank Madison, but also these sentiments of Jose Cuevas stated that activism is definitely needed to be the balancing act of how we as elected officials govern things that are most important to us as a society. So I truly want to thank the young ladies for their advocacy and for their activism regarding this fracking issue. It is one that is so important to not only to the waterways but to the environment as in general. So I will be supporting it, and also truly want to thank the mayor for jumping on this issue immediately when it first was brought to his attention. And I'm hoping that the whole state, all 523 municipalities can join and send a loud, clear message to our governor that we do not want this in the state of New Jersey. So thank you again, ladies, for your advocacy and for your activism. Keep doing this because, we need you to touch our consciousness, especially the elected officials, to making sure that they're not sleeping on issues that are so vitally important to our society. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. President. Councilman Keenan.
I made my feelings known at the last meeting how horrendous dumping fracking waste in the city of Elizabeth is. Elizabeth has, since the very beginning, been a very, very heavy industrialized city. We have a legacy of industrial activity in this region, and there's no excuse for people to think that they can take advantage of us. We hold, as all of the activities that we've had tonight, we hold our place where we live and raise our families in very high regard. And it's just unacceptable that anybody would think that it's okay to dump fracking waste in the city of Elizabeth. So this has got my support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? I just wanted to thank Ms. Nelson, Ms. Peachtree, who've been here a couple of times speaking to us about this. And as the councilman mentioned, our mayor, who was on the forefront of making sure that this ordinance got before us, drafted by our law department. I'm hoping, ladies, that City Council of Elizabeth, by approving this ordinance, will allow you to carry this torch throughout the state and definitely down the train. Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on the final.
Ordinance number 4482, authorizing amendment to chapter 5.70.250 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Rent Control and Stabilization, specifically to extend the expiration date to December 31st, 2016.
Heard reading of ordinance number 4482. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
Mr. President,
Councilman Mazza.
I see in the audience tonight our good friend Steve Schaefer, and rent control is here to stay. Without rent control, Elizabeth tenants will be suffering, even though some of the rental are above what it used to be many years ago. I remember some rental were $375, $375, now I hear it's over $1,000, $1,500, $1,800, $1,900. So it's good that rent control stays on the books, and if there is need for adjustment because of the antiquated scenario that we have in rent control, City Council should be able to adjust so rent control will remain as fair and as it's always been for many, many years. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? It's ironic that it seems that every year that I'm president of the City Council, rent control So I wanted to just thank Steve Schaefer and his group to bring this to our attention every time it needs to be renewed, and he's got overwhelming support on this. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance 483, authorizing amendment to Chapter 10.28.30, Schedule 1 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth, entitled No Parking All Times on Certain Streets, specifically for the entire length of Harrison Street and Crane Street, as well as stop signs at the intersection of Crane Street and Union Street, and the intersection of Harrison Street and Westfield Avenue.
You've heard a reading of ordinance number 4483. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for vote, Mr. President.
It's now been moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4484, rescind ordinance number 3541, adopted September 9, 2003, which authorized the establishment of a four-way stop at Stiles Street and Chilton Street, and further establish a three-way stop at said location.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4484. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4485, rescind ordinance number 4015, adopted January 27, 2009, which authorized the establishment of no stopping or standing in the area of 109, 119 Gateway Avenue.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4485. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4486, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Alina Street and Jefferson Avenue, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4486. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for vote, Mr. President.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, Mr. President, as you know, when you and I was out walking in this area, and the amount of speeders in this area, I think by installing this warning sign in that area, only going to enhance the traffic to slow down, and also help to improve the traffic, also help hopefully improve, save lives. So I want to ask my colleague, I would urge them to support this ordinance, and so we hope that continue to keep those speeds so fast in that area. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? I just want to send a message to those who live in the area of the Alina Street and Jefferson Avenue intersection. Councilman Goldman bringing this to the floor for a vote, and the support of City Council will answer some of the concerns that were raised by those residents who live in that area. And Councilman, I thank you for your effort in that. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4487, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Durant Street and Cross Avenue, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard a reading of ordinance 4487. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments?
Mr. President,
Councilman Sedan.
just a quick comment to let everyone know at home that our greatest goal
just make it very safe for their kids that attend Robert Morris School 18. Having this stop sign there in the Durant Cross Avenue section is going to definitely help the overall safety. Thank you.
Good job, Councilman, on this matter. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye. Ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4488, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Ogden Street and Myrtle Street, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs of said intersection.
Heard reading of ordinance 4488. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Silence is on.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Corrigan.
Aye. 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4489, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Stop Intersections, specifically to add a multi-way stop at the intersection of Fifth Avenue and Atlantic Street, and the installation of a stop sign warning 100 feet before the stop signs at said intersection.
Heard reading of ordinance 4489. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Torres.
The intersection of Fifth Avenue and Atlantic Street, short period of time that I've been councilman, many complaints from residents, many accidents, and it's located right next to a park where we have hundreds of kids that play there each day during the summer. So I'm just glad that this is on final reading. Safety is our number one concern, and I'm just glad that it's on final reading.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? Just want to congratulate you, Councilman, for bringing this to the floor. And I know that that intersection has been a problem for years, and hopefully the four-way stop will alleviate some of the concerns. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman. Oh, okay.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye, ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4490, amend chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Pedestrians Crossing, Mid-Lot Crossing, specifically to add 655 Livingston Street and warning signs of pedestrian crossing.
Heard reading of ordinance 4490. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye, 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4491, authorizing establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Barbara A. Ramis, DAR 4, 66 Florida Street.
Heard reading of ordinance 4491. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye, 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4492, rescind ordinance number 4142, adopted July 27, 2010, which authorized the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Stephanie Lubis, 208 Geneva Street.
Heard reading of ordinance 4492. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Corrigan.
Aye, 8 ayes, ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4493, rescind ordinance number adopted September 10, 2013, which authorized the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Barbara A. Russo, 532 4th Avenue.
Heard the reading of ordinance number 4493. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Ballmer.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on final. All right, we'll now move on to the business. Councilman Torres, you have a motion.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Ballmer.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. Please read the resolution.
The letter is dated September 23, 2014, from the city attorney requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute all documents necessary to terminate the letter of credit required from El Baron Elizabeth Urban Renewal LLC with the city to ensure the construction and completion of the new warehouse for Wake Firm, which recently opened on York Street so that El Baron can access these funds.
Heard reading the resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Ballmer.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. Any ayes? The resolution passes.
Authorize an amendment to the fiscal year 2015 capital budget in the amount of $400,000 in compliance with state fiscal year 2014 Appropriations Act. City Council is required to approve all payments related to accumulated uncompensated absence benefits. Authorizes honor the mayor to execute the Midtown Parking Garage operating agreement between the Elizabeth Development Corporation and the Elizabeth Parking Authority to operate the facility and for the Elizabeth Parking Authority to integrate the facility with its other existing parking facilities to commence upon execution of said agreement until May 14, 2027. Confirm the reappointment of the Honorable Richard Oba Elizabeth to serve as a judge of the municipal court for a term of 3 years effective October 1, 2014.
Heard reading the resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
They've been moved and seconded. Any comments? Councilman Keenan.
This is a separate document, the resolution authorization utilizing the assistance funds from the Elizabeth Midtown Parking Garage.
That's later on in the agenda.
Later on.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Ballmer.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. All resolution passes.
Authorize the award of contract to Union Square Medical Associates Elizabeth to provide the professional medical services for city employees in the police and fire departments for the period September 1, 2014 to August 31, 2015 at a cost not to exceed $95,000. Authorize the award of contract to Hartford Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut, through the agent of record, Hughes Plummer and Associates, for the renewal of the policy of insurance covering the Fidelity Officials Bond for City Treasurer Tax Collector Paul Lesniak for the period December 1, 2014 to December 1, 2015 at an annual premium of $1,750. Authorize the purchasing agent to initiate a proprietary sealed bid process to purchase one 500-foot-long section of 12-inch super aqueduct single-jacketed polyester and polyurethane hose with couplings manufactured by Angus Flexible Pipelines, a division of Pyring Corporation in Markham, Ontario, Canada. Authorize the award of contract to E-Plus Technology, Inc., Newton, Pennsylvania, for the purchase of computer hardware, printer servers, media software upgrades, and other computer equipment for various city buildings for the period September 1, 2014 through December 31st, 2014 at a cost not to exceed $50,000. Authorize the award of contract to Howard Industries, Inc., Ellisville, Mississippi, for the purchase of hardware for computers, printers, servers, media, software upgrades, printer repairs, and other computer equipment for various city buildings for the period September 1, 2014 through December 31st, 2014 at a cost not to exceed $25,000. Authorize the award of a contract to Dell Marketing LP, Round Rock, Texas, for the purchase of Dell computer service and replacement parts for various city buildings for the period September 1, 2014 through December 31st, 2014 at a cost not to exceed $100,000. Authorize the award of a contract to Rico USA Inc., Pine Brook, New Jersey, for payment of cost per copy on existing lease copiers for various departments for the period September 1, 2014 through August 31st, 2015 at a cost not to exceed $50,000. Authorize the award of a contract to Charles S. Winter Inc., doing business as Winter Ford, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for Ford 2015 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive chassis cabs and options for the Department of Public Works at a total cost of $192,444. Authorize the award of contract to Cleveland Auto and Tire Company, Elizabeth, for the purchase of tires and tubes for vehicles for the Departments of Public Works, Police, and Fire for the period September 10, 2014 through March 31st, 2015 at a cost not to exceed $175,000. Authorize proper city officials to execute all necessary documents between the City of Elizabeth and Kane University to provide Blue Bus trolley transportation for facilitating visitor transportation to and from Kane University for the 350th anniversary celebration. Authorize the award of contract to Endpoint Technology Sales, Inc., Gardena, California, for the third-party service provider DRS Imaging, Springfield, New Jersey, for the purchase of cloud-based software as a service in the form of electronic data storage of construction documents at a cost of $51,453.65.
Heard a reading of the resolutions. What is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
Resolutions have been moved and seconded. Any comments?
President,
Councilman Mazza.
I'd like to commend our fire director and the chief, who actually Chief Carl, I can't remember his last name, that recommended to buy the additional 500 feet of hose, which I read the attachment that it was submitted to City Council. It's amazing what a powerful cannon that we have in order to protect and save, God forbid, if it's a chemical fire or whatever. Quite similarly, we got the airport, we cover the airport, we cover the, what do you call those people that came to joint meeting here in Elizabeth, and it's a great thing to have. And the recommendation, he mentioned that all the engines that we have does not produce that powerful injection of water or chemical that we might use. So it's a great thing, and it's very wise, and we are upfront in everything in the list. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye, 8 ayes, ordinance passes. Resolution passes the final.
Authorizes honor the mayor to execute the settlement agreement between the City of Elizabeth and Burnett Investors Urban Renewal. Authorizes honor the mayor to execute the settlement agreement between the City of Elizabeth and 107 First Street Urban Renewal. Authorize the tax collector to credit senior citizen disability and/or veteran deduction for tax year 2014 pursuant to a delineated list submitted September 16, 2014 in the total amount of $2,000. Authorize the proper city officials to execute all appropriate documents to apply for the 2014 Transform Your City Through Innovation sponsored by the Bloomberg Philanthropies in the amount not to exceed $2 million. Authorize proper city officials to execute an agreement between the City of Elizabeth's Department of Health and Human Services and the Elizabeth Board of Education to provide nursing services for non-public schools for the period September 1, 2014 through June 30, 2015 at a cost payable to the city in the amount of $153,468. Authorize proper city officials to utilize Urban Enterprise Zone Assistance Funds in the amount of $969,900 for a capital improvement and modernization project at the Midtown Parking Garage. Authorize an amendment to a resolution adopted November 12, 2013, granting the Urban League of Union County and Emergency Solutions Grant Funds in the amount of $40,822.20, specifically to extend the term of the contract to December 31st, 2014. Authorize the award of contract to T&M Associates, Middleton, New Jersey, to provide civil engineering services on a time and material basis in connection with the demolition of 155 First Street, the MAC building, at a cost not to exceed $89,440, plus reimbursables. Authorize the award of contract to T&M Associates, Middleton, New Jersey, to provide civil engineering services on a time and material basis in connection with the demolition of 625 Pulaski Street at a cost not to exceed $66,115 plus reimbursables. Authorize contract amendment number 1 final to the contract awarded to T&M Associates to provide environmental consulting engineering services at Veterans Memorial Waterfront Park at a cost not to exceed $108,550, specifically to provide environmental consulting engineering services at an additional cost not to exceed $9,500. Authorize contract amendment number 1 final to the contract awarded to T&M Associates to provide professional engineering services at Veterans Memorial Waterfront Park at a cost not to exceed $98,350, specifically to provide environmental engineering services at an additional cost not to exceed $12,190. Authorize proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to apply for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Local Aid for Transit Village Grant Program to implement a new traffic light system at the intersection of Morris Avenue and Westfield Avenue in an amount not to exceed $600,000. Authorize proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to apply for the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Municipal Aid Grant Program for funds to implement a new traffic light system at the intersections of Elizabeth Avenue, South Street, and Jake Street in an amount not to exceed $600,000.
Further reading of the resolution, what is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
It is moved and seconded. Any comments?
Mr. President,
Councilman Mazza.
I would like to recognize our director, Krishna Gali, for doing a great job. They keep trying to find money where we could actually rehabilitate our animal shelter. So commend for a great incentive and enthusiasm in order to provide money to our city.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Torres.
I also would like to recognize Director Garland for understanding that animals are important to residents here in the city of Elizabeth. So we were denied once, but Demolition of the MAC building is a tough pill to swallow. It's been part of my youth growing up, many programs there. But the building is beyond repair, and I can't wait to meet with the community and the administration to see what the next great project that we're going to create now in the first floor. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you.
Councilwoman.
Yes, I also would like to commend the Director of Health and Human Services, Director Krista Carlin, for taking a long-term problem here in the city of Elizabeth and trying to find ways to resolve it. She did not put forth excuses when it came to rehabilitating our animal shelter, but she tried and she continues to put forth good effort trying to seek for funding. So I'm hoping this time we are successful as a city so that we can really modernize an animal shelter that is long overdue. So thank you on behalf of the animal lovers. Thank you, Director.
Anyone else? I just wanted to also congratulate and thank the director. I know we've had some meetings with people here at the council meeting, but all of their questions have been answered and addressed by her and her department to the point that they are actually happy, which is actually in your package. You have a letter from a Linda Rule who travels 3 hours a day to come to Elizabeth because she says in her own words that the animal control personnel of the Elizabeth shelter can identify one word as being heroes to the animals of Elizabeth. So I hope this grant from Bloomberg for flood properties is awarded to our city and hopefully we can improve our animal shelter. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
No on the change orders. I have everything else.
Councilman Questa.
No other change orders, I have everything else.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedano. Councilman Ballman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
No one change orders, I have everything else. All resolutions passed.
Authorize proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to apply for the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Bikeway Grant Program to provide funding to expand the Elizabeth River Trail project by implementing Phase 4 upstream along the Elizabeth River from South Street to West Grand Street in an amount not to exceed $1,700,000. Authorize proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to apply for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Safe Streets to Transit program to provide funding to implement a new traffic light system at the intersection of Broad Street and East-West Grand Street in an amount not to exceed $600,000. Authorize proper city officials to request the New Jersey Department of Transportation to perform traffic signal upgrades at the intersection of Elmora Avenue and Edinburgh Road, Elmora Avenue and Broadway Avenue, left turn phasing and signal display upgrades, with the city assuming 25% of the total cost to revise the devices. Establish handicap parking spaces in front of the premises located at 144 South Park Street and 150 South Park Street. Declare the month of October 2014 as Italian American Heritage Month and permit a flag raising ceremony at the steps of City Hall on October 16, 2014 at noon. Pay utility bills, approve bingo and raffle licenses.
reading of the resolutions. What is your pleasure?
Move the resolutions for both, Mr. President.
David moved and seconded. Any comments?
Mr. President,
Councilman Mazza.
why do we have a ceremony after the fact of Christopher Columbus holiday, which will be Monday, October 13th?
I don't know the answer to your question. Monday is a holiday, we're not here, so I guess that's why they do it on Tuesday.
Did you used to in the first week?
I don't know the answer.
All right. I guess there must be no Italian members applying for this holiday.
I don't know the answer. This was before us, this came before us city, last week. Nobody caught that. It's in the letter, right?
I know that the council later issue funds a resolution commending somebody for the Italian Heritage Month or whatever, but this resolution after the fact, maybe the mayor's not available, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know the answer.
Yolanda, what is this recommendation from whom?
Yeah, let me report, it came from the chairman of the Heritage Committee.
The Heritage, which heritage?
National,
Huh?
Unico National, the chairman.
Who was it? Robert DiPaolo.
But I'm a member of the Unico National.
You're not the chairman?
I don't think Rob is the chairman.
You got it from the chairman, Councilman.
I probably can't talk about the national, whatever might be, and I don't.
I think you may want to direct this question to Mr. DiPaolo.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye, all resolutions passed. Commendations to our fire director, Humphrey Tulo, being named this year as Unico Citizen of the Year. Mr. Joe Carroll for his retirement as principal of the Patrick School, formerly St. Patrick's High School. To Mr. Jamil Kumari, who will be presenting the commendation. Steve, any other commendations? Memorials, we have Santa Coletti, Eva Torres, Gertrude Hollenshed Johnson, and Mr. Russell Rusty Harris. Any other memorials?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman
Oh,
Cohen.
yeah, Deacon John Johnson.
Deacon
John Johnson.
John.
Yeah, been a long time, Johnson from the industry. I get that information to the city clerk.
Please do. Anyone else? This time I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence for the memorial. Motion to adjourn.